Yes, sir. A very, very beautiful afternoon to you, sir.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for always coming along to be very helpful to us, sir.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. I can't have it any other way.
Thank you so much, sir, for all you are doing for humanity. We are really so grateful for your consistent show of love. We really, really appreciate you, sir.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Okay. So this is the day. Biggest appreciation, sir. Family members back at home, here we are. We've been the very beautiful moments we've been waiting for. We have it's too big for my mouth to call him Charles. So we have Boda Charles in the house. I'm sure many of you viewing us from everywhere around the world actually knows who he is. So it's like the typical plant in the farmyard that is not hidden from the farmer. So you know him, you know Boda Charles Oguntade, and if you haven't known him, if you are meeting him for the first time, he's going to introduce him to you people at home. And I just have lots of beautiful things to say about him for being an enigma in nursing profession. He's such a dependable one and is really, really so caring. Is passionate about the progress anyone who is a nurse is making, and even if you are not a nurse, so far he sees in you, that you are a person of vision. He has a way of walking through with you that your vision becomes mission. Thank you so much, sir. We appreciate
Thank
you
you.
for all you are doing for us. We are really, really very grateful unto you. You will
Thank you.
introduce yourself, but what you'll be doing for us today is to tell us what is happening down under. For people who don't know, the place being called down under, Australia has that nickname. And so here is Uncle Charles. He's been in Australia for about 20 years,
Yeah.
for about 2 decades. So it's not someone anything about Australia is hidden from. It's not just coming around to tell us YouTube things to ginger us. It's coming to tell us the raw things, the real things about Australia. Thank you so much again, sir. Uncle
Thank you.
Charles is a registered mental health nurse. You will hear from him. How did he get to Australia? How has he been faring in Australia? What are the encouragement he has for people that want to come to Australia? Lots of things that he will be telling us. How you're settling in will be easy, peasy, lemon squeezy. He's going to tell us all those things. And how many snakes he has eaten, how many snakes he has seen, he has killed in Australia. And he's going to tell you guys, because I know many of you don't want to go to Australia because that's the land of anaconda. Uncle
Mm.
Charles, welcome on board, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. And good evening to everyone at home, everyone listening to us, everyone watching us live on this show. Good evening to everyone. And thank you, Shade, for what you do, for
Thank
whom
you,
you
sir.
are. And your energy is just so infectious.
Thank you,
Yeah,
sir.
like you just you like I can't help myself. You cannot call me and I will say no. It's not
I
possible.
appreciate, sir. I appreciate, sir.
So thank you for everything that you're doing. Thank you for
Thank you,
what you
sir.
believe in and how you've been a source of inspiration to a lot of people. Thank you.
Thank you for your humility, sir.
Mm.
So, please tell us about yourself.
Well, thank you. Well, for everyone, I'm sure you probably will have seen my name on the screen anyway. My name is Charles Oguntade, and I also have a middle name called Aderonti. And but I go by Charles. For most people, I think the only person that still calls me Aderonti is my wife. So yes, I'm a registered nurse, a registered mental health nurse, and I'm a credentialed mental health nurse actually. And my background is in mental health and forensic mental health. I practice in the area of forensic mental health. I've been a nurse for quite a while now. Actually, my first life, I was a building and quantity surveyor. So
Quantity surveyor.
I started my career as a building and quantity surveyor, and I along the line I deviated into nursing, and I don't think I've got any regret in doing that. So I started my career back in Nigeria. I had my RN qualification at the Obafemi Awolowo University Teaching Hospital School of Nursing, and that was a fun part of my life. I really enjoyed my stay in that school thoroughly. I've got a lot of story to tell about the place, both good and bad. But the good thing is that we did a lot. We did a lot, and that's where I formed a like the basis of my career. Finished from there. After I worked in a private setting for a short period of time, I went back to school. So I did my post basic psychiatric nursing at a neuropsychiatric hospital, Arrow, and finished from there. Then I moved to Lagos. I moved back to Lagos. So I started working at a federal neuropsychiatric hospital, Yaba. And I worked in Yaba till I relocated to Australia. And that's coming to Australia is actually one of a maybe I could say unplanned journey, because in those years all our focus, myself, my colleagues, everybody just want to go to the United Kingdom, and we like going for this interview. A lot of people, recruiter will come to town. Remember those years we're registering with a UKCC. So I still remember that I have a UKCC registration. Perhaps they will still have my name in one of their record there in UK. So I then we've attended number of interview with recruiters, and to the point that I actually attended a couple of interviews at the embassy. I think I was at the embassy twice. I couldn't secure a visa to migrate to the UK, which was quite funny. I don't know why, but I think God has destined that my journey is going to end up in Australia anyway. Because there are a lot of my colleagues, a lot of my friends that moved to United Kingdom at that time. And along the line, I remember there's this my friend, very close a friend of mine, is a psychiatrist. The last time I went for interview at the UK embassy, he also was going for interview at the Australian embassy, and we always compare notes. And we went for the interview on the same day. I didn't get the visa. He got his visa to Australia, so he moved to Australia. We still kept a close contact. And at a point, he started telling me, "So look, I've met a lot of nurses here. I think maybe you should consider coming to Australia." I say, "Australia? Who goes to Australia? That's like a far away end of the world. Do you have people living there?" Actually say, "Oh yeah, like there are actually number of Nigerians living here." So, okay. And uh, after so much persuasion, I said, "Okay, well, I think I'll give it a go." And then he posted the application form to register with the board. Then there is no APRA. Every state and
Oh,
territory has the every state and territory has their own board. So
wow.
every state has a different board until
Oh,
later. It was later they now have like a APRA
so life was much
brings.
easier then without
Yeah,
APRA. APRA is a
yeah.
big pain.
Yeah, so my friend was living in Victoria at the time, so he sent they call it a Nurses Board of Victoria. So he sent the application form to me. I completed the form and I posted back to him. Then he submitted the form on my behalf, and from there, like I think a month later, I got my first correspondence from the Nurses Board of Victoria, confirming that they acknowledging my application, that they've received my application, and the board have sat and review it. And so the next stage now is that they would need me to write a test of English. And once I've written the test of English, or if I've got the result, I should send it to them, and then they will confirm my application. And at that point, I thought, well, why do I need to write a test of English when UKCC doesn't ask anybody for English? What is wrong with Australia? So the person that wrote that letter, I saw her email in the letter. You know, those are the days that you have to go and do overnight browsing. You need to go to a cyber cafe to do overnight browsing. So I booked a session in one of the cyber cafe in the hospital. So I sent an email back to her overnight and just say, and like, because I wasn't even keen about it, I was looking for every opportunity to knock me back so I wouldn't have to disappoint my friend. So I didn't tell my friend. I actually wrote them an email. So I sent an email to the lady and said, hey, why did you need me to write a test of English when I'm from Nigeria? I have all my experience in Nigeria. Nigeria is an English-speaking country. We're part of the Commonwealth. I just wrote all those conditions why I don't need to write one. And surprisingly, like 3 days later, she replied me back, acknowledging that she received my email and she would like me to send a proper letter, appeal for exemption from the test of English, and also if I could find a reference from my employer to confirm that English is the medium of conversation in where I work, and then I can also include in the letter that I was trained in
In
English
English.
and all that. So I did all that. I sent the letter back to her, and she acknowledged receiving it, and she said that look, she will present my case to the board because the board usually meet once in a month, that she will present my case to the board and she will get back to me with the decision. So a month after, like maybe 3 weeks after, like when they had their meeting, immediately they had their meeting, she got back to me and just sent me another letter, bulky letter this time around, to say, congratulations, your application is now being accepted. We've exempted you
I
from
wish
test
it
of
was still
English.
those days now.
Yeah, and then she
After
sent
it's
me
a big pain on the
list.
backside.
Exactly. And she sent me long list of a different hospital where I need to come in and do supervise practice for a period of 10 weeks. And then, so I started writing letters to all these hospitals. Like I'll write a letter. Then I've got this generic template that I use in writing the letter. So I write the letter and post it to them. So I was getting back, many of them are getting back to me and saying, hey, they don't sponsor people from overseas. If I'm in Australia, they are happy to take me. Some will say they haven't got a program now. Until one night, I was a night duty and somebody rang me from Australia on my mobile. And I could hear this Indian accent from the other end. I was about to cut the call, say, oh, look, all these telemarketers. And then the guy mentioned the name of one of the hospitals that I've applied to. Say, did you apply for this supervisor practice in so hospital in Australia? I said, yes. I said, okay, well, I'm actually the one recruiting for them, and they've sent your name to us, and I'm just checking with you if you are still interested. That
And
we
that's
can,
Bijo.
yeah, Bijo, yeah.
I
That
remember
if you,
Bijo.
yeah,
I
that
know
if you
you
are
brought
still
Bijo to our WhatsApp group sometimes ago.
yes, I did.
Yeah.
Yes, I did. He's a very lovely guy. And he
Okay.
said,
I
look,
hope we
if you
will
are,
be able
if,
to help because now that people
yes,
are that APRA want people to be writing us key. If New
yeah.
Zealand keeps delaying like this, I'm sure there will be some people that might want to go through us key pathway. I hope Bijo's team will be training because it
Oh,
seems
yeah,
they
yeah,
are
yeah.
really good.
Yes, they are training. In fact, I was on their site a couple of days ago. So they're actually organizing a coaching class for people writing OSCE, coaching class for people doing
Cool.
the
Good.
objective
Good.
structures,
We'll be happy to
objective
have him
structures
again,
test.
no, because it was really very helpful then.
Yeah,
Yes, sir. So
yeah,
you've come
yeah.
a very, very long way.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah,
And
I'm
that
I'm
was, to cut
allowing
the
you
story short,
to
that's
tell
how I
people,
got.
sir, so that they will know things are possible, even while
Yes.
people are still back in Nigeria. Because some people might think this pathway is only for the people in the diaspora and this and this and that. But I'm been looking for a way to make it attractive to people back in Nigeria that it's quite possible. I know my journey was quite tough, and so many people would not be encouraged if I tell them how my Nigeria to Australia work went. But if I had listened to you, I know I would have been a citizen last 2 or 3 years ago. Because if I had listened to you and went through New Zealand pathway, it would have
Mm.
just been the best decision I've made. But all thanks to God, maybe I wouldn't have been all out looking out for people to migrate. I might not be canvassing migration at all. I might
Nah,
not be
nah. I
preaching
think
migration. Sister
look, all
Anike,
things.
God
Yeah.
bless you, ma. Somebody
I
is saying
think.
hello to us on the screen.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Yes, I need you
Good.
to really complete the story before we launch into what we want to really
Yeah.
discuss
Look.
so
To
that
cut the
people will know
story
it is
short.
possible.
Yeah, to cut the story short, I started working with these guys, and then they guide me through the visa application and all that. And before I know what is happening, I've already booking my flight, and I'm right in Melbourne. And
Wow.
yeah, I arrived in Melbourne. In fact, it was so interesting. I remember the day I got to arrive at the airport in Melbourne. When I came out from the airport, I was expecting someone to carry my name. I was looking at all the names that people were carrying. I said, I can't find my name here. Could it be that these people have forgotten me? They forgot that I'm arriving today. After I came out, somebody just tapped me from behind and said, "Oh, are you Charles?" I said, "Yes." So, "Oh, okay." So, and he introduced himself and said, "Oh, look, I've come to pick you up," and blah blah blah. We got into his car, and I said, "Okay, can I ask you a question? How did you know that I'll be Charles?" I said, "Well," and he said, "Well, I thought of doing a placard to carry your name, but I thought, well, the person that is coming is a black man. How many black men comes through that door on daily basis?" So, and he was right. In the whole of the aircraft, I was the only black person that traveled
Wow,
in
wow,
that
wow,
very
wow,
morning.
wow. Wow, wow.
So it's
Yes, your journey has been very, very fantastic and inspirational. It's an inspiring journey. So, yeah, we are here today, and my first question, I know will be a shocker, but then I would actually appreciate a very truthful response to it. You've been in Australia for like 20 years, we said. How many snakes have you seen?
well, I think the first and the last one I've seen is in the zoo, and this will be like maybe this will be like maybe 7 or 8 years ago when I took the kids to the zoo. So I remember that we saw a snake coven in the zoo. I haven't seen any live snake, and trust me, I don't live in a metro area. I live in regional city. There is a bush party everywhere. In fact, I go for bush walk. I go for bush walk every now
All
and
right, sir.
I've never seen any single snake before.
All right, sir. Just a second. One of the Akinyemi's kiddies is giving me that pricing. Oh yeah, come and take.
Mm.
I'm back, sir. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's all
sir.
right.
Thank you, Daddy. Simon Akinyemi, and that's my father-in-law. That's my husband's biggest brother. He's the first
Oh,
child of the siblings.
okay.
Thank you, Biodun.
That's
Biodun is my mom's
that's the
second to the last
that's the
child.
that's the that's
Sister
the
Nika,
Olori
thank you. She's a descendant of
Ebi.
Florence Nightingale, I believe. So the first and the last snake you've seen is
Yeah, and that was it. Like I don't think I've been back in the zoo in the last 8 years. So
all
the first
right,
and the
sir.
last
So
zoo
we should
snake
not be
I've seen.
scared because the way we hear about snakes and Australia is like when you are sleeping and you want to make a pillow, you make your
They just crawl.
pillows of snakes. Your footstools will be snakes. You'll be eating your food and snakes will be rushing the foods with
Uh,
you. And you
nah.
want to drive your car in the morning, you just have to roll the steering with the snakes whirling around the steering. Those are the things people have been, the ideologies we have around the world about
Nah.
Australia. Now, you've
Nah.
seen somebody who's in Australia for 2 decades and haven't seen a live snake. So, all of you who village people are telling that snakes, so debunked now. Now, let's go to it, sir. Australia is all out looking for internationally educated nurses now.
Yes, yes, and
Thank, thank you.
the campaign is huge. Yeah,
Yeah, it's there, it's heavy, and our
yeah,
people are moving from USA, I mean, from the UK, maybe not so many USA people like our UK people, people
yeah,
from the Philippines, the Indians, many
yes.
people are actually moving. And we too, as it is now, that some of us are discipling people into Australian nursing. I personally love things that will make my nurses and myself as comfortable as possible. So
Mm,
those things you'll be trashing out for us today, things you'll be ironing out for us today are things that will make us comfortable in the land as speedily as possible. You've walked the
mm,
path, it's not strange to you. So please be all out to give us as we desire them.
mm.
Which places would you say someone is coming from the diaspora should come and practice in Australia? Which states? What are your reasons? And yeah, we'd like to know that.
Look, as you probably know, like Australia has we've got a state and territory. So we have the Victoria State, the New South Wales, we have Queensland, we have South Australia, and then we have Western Australia and Tasmania. Those are the states. Then the territories that we've got is the Northern
Northern
Territory
Territory.
and Australian Capital Territory. So we have two territory. And to be honest, there is none of those states that you venture into that you are not going to excel. But if you like, then if you now bring it down to the nitty gritty, you want to live in a place where you have a lot of people that looks like you. You want to consider the cost of living. Then you want to consider like the wage as well. Look, because at the end of the day, except if we are deceiving ourselves, you want to be paid well. And the thing is that each state, because they are all federating states, each state is allowed, all the nurses union from each state, they are allowed to have their own individual, like independent enterprise bargain. And what that means is that what a nurse in Victoria will be paid is different to what a nurse in New South Wales will be paid, even though New South Wales is just our next door neighbor. And what a nurse in South Australia will be paid, it will be different. And then it goes on and on like that. So if you like in that instance, and then it depends on the kind of lifestyle that you want for yourself. Say for example, now if you want to live a very quiet life, yeah, you want to feel comfortable to live anywhere, whether you live in the city or you live outside the city or in the regional area, then you think of living in South Australia. because South Australia, both the regional town and even their main city looks alike. South Australia is a very quiet town. They are a bit
That's Adelaide.
yeah, that's Adelaide. And they are a little bit backward, I would say. And backward in the sense is that South Australia is the religious headquarters of Australia. Most of all the churches you find it in South Australia. So
So
they are
like we, those of us who
they're
are
very
SU
laid
that we
back.
still tie a scarf to our ears. So that's South Australia.
so so they're very they're very laid back. In fact, we used to joke with our colleagues, I'm going to South Australia to go to work. We just joke with them, no, you are not going there to work, you are going there to sing hallelujah chorus.
To do what?
To sing hallelujah chorus.
Wow, that's lovely then.
So
Nice.
and the truth is that South Australia will not pay you as much as what Victoria or New South Wales will pay you, even though like they have a boundary with South Australia do have a boundary with both Victoria and New South Wales, but they won't pay you as much as that. But you will not be surprised like they might give you more incentive to drive you to South Australia, like a financial incentive if you're just coming in to bring you into South Australia. So that could happen. And when you consider that vis-a-vis you are working in Victoria, like if you are working in Victoria, I will not advise you to pick a job in within Melbourne metropolis. And there's a reason behind that. Because yes, they will pay you, okay, but the truth is that what they're going to pay you is not going to be different to what my employer will pay me in Shepparton. And Shepparton is 2 hours a drive into Melbourne Metro. But you need to consider other facts that what is the cost of living in Melbourne Metropolis?
So it's
Anywhere.
like being the soul of Lagos or being Mowe.
Oh,
Mowe
yes.
could be cheaper,
Yep.
and someone working for Lagos State around Mowe will be earning same thing as what someone who is working around
Ex-
Tinubu Square is earning. And the person
exactly.
who is living around that Tinubu Square will be paying heavily to
Exactly.
for rent and a few other things.
Exactly. And let
All
me
right.
just let me bring it home for you. Like I have got a friend that works in a works in Melbourne, and this my friend where he lives to where he works. Normally on a free flow traffic is like a 15 minutes drive. But on a heavy day, you're money duty and you enter into that heavy traffic, it might take you like 1 hour to drive it to work. And no matter what happens, even if there is hold up everywhere, there are more than five or different links that gets to my work. And the maximum travel that I'm going to make is 3 minutes. I'm already in front of my office. I have 3 minutes drive from my house. I'm already in front of my office. In fact, if you are living in the farthest place within Shepparton, to come and work in Goulburn Valley Health, it will take you like a maximum of 10 minutes. You're already there. Maximum of 10 minutes. And when you now bring it to even like a living standard, you will find if you are renting, if you, let's say for example you are renting, you will still find a 3 bedroom house that is going to cost you like maybe 400 500 400 $500, maybe at the most $550 per
A
week.
week.
Yeah, 3 4 bedroom house, $550 per week. But if you are living in Melbourne metropolis, that same house, 3 4 bedroom house, is not going to cost you nothing less than $1,000. Go figure. And this is
Okay.
somebody that is not earning more than me. We are
Okay.
earning the same wage
Yeah, it's
because there
happening in
is
the UK
it is
too.
an it,
Some people are living in London, some people are in Manchester, some people are in Scotland, and they are saving more than people in the core London. Fine,
yeah,
I got that.
yeah.
So for people who want to point one, note the very big point. All right, sir.
So
So
and and
Yeah.
then you need to consider all those facts. But if you're the type that you like going clubbing, you want to go clubbing on Friday night and go clubbing on weekend, yes, you can live in Melbourne metropolis. You have more than enough a club to go to every weekend. But if that is not your lifestyle, why do you need to stress yourself in living in Melbourne metropolis when you can move into a regional city, earn the same wage, with very low cost of living, and you live even a stress-free life? It's not that stressful. You are not caught
And
up in hold
pollution
up,
free environment.
pollution free. You are not caught up in hold up. And a lot of people will say, "Oh, look, when I live in Metro, I have many options. I can go do like a locum and do all that." But at the end of the day, if you are not even giving yourself enough rest, you're going jumping from one work to another just to make ends meet, because all those extra money that you are making is either it goes into your mortgage or it goes into your rent, because you find the same person. For example, now I give you an example, like if you are buying a house, if you can buy a house of a four-bedroom a house that might not cost you more than 500,000, 500,000, 600,000 in Shepparton. If you want to buy the same house in Melbourne, three-bedroom, four-bedroom house, it will cost you nothing less than 700, 800,000. That is if you get it cheap. And what is
Yeah.
expensive in Melbourne is actually not the house, it's the land. Is the land that is the land that is expensive. So now, if you're now paying if I'm paying a mortgage of a $2,000 every fortnight, and it's on my house, on the same house, you are paying like a 3,500, 4,000 every fortnight. To meet up with that, then it means that you have to go do like extra work, extra shift, and you just work yourself to death. And it's not good. It's not healthy. It's not good for it. It's not good for one's
Yeah.
psyche.
Yeah. We will not castigate. We just give I mean our views,
Yes,
opinions. So
absolutely.
people are allowed to.
Yeah, they can always people can always choose. They can decide on what they want to do and how they
Yes.
want to. And look, we're even saying that, even though like all these variables are there are millions of people that are living in Melbourne. Like let's agree that I'm promoting my Shepparton now. In my Shepparton, we are just 70,000 living there, but there are millions of people living in Melbourne. So that, which means there is still something that gravitates people to that Melbourne. But that is me.
Yes, sir.
I'm just viewing my own opinion.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir. So people should look towards regional more than the metros.
Absolutely. That would be,
Regionals
yeah, that would be
and
my
rurals.
preference. Yes.
All right, sir. So I want to ask this. I don't know whether it's too early to ask. How how easy is it to own businesses around? Like if someone wants to have a residential home, a rest home or something, how
Nah.
easy is it to
No,
do that?
it's very easy to be honest with you. I do run a business, so it's very easy. All what it entails is that getting through the regulation. Like for example, the one that most people do, most of our colleagues do around here, which I'm also involved in it, is called NDIS, which is like a National Disability Insurance Scheme, and which like you can have your own facility, you can have your own business where you look after people with a disability, like it could be physical disability, mental health disability, neurological disorder, and or whatnot. And you can provide all sorts of services for them, like personal care, home care services, community access, all sorts of services you can provide. Even a nursing care, you can provide all sorts of services. And what that entails is that you register a company, you apply for registration to have a provider number to be able to provide those care, and they will come and audit you, look into your policies and all that, what you've got in place, the personnel, the policy that you have in place, and that will be audited, and then the auditor will recommend you for registration. You get your registration and a provider number, and then you are in business. You can start running your own business.
Mm.
So you can
Okay.
register a company, or you can have a sole proprietor business. Like I've got two different registration now with the NDIS thing. I've registered it as a company. That's the best way of going about it, because when you are providing such service, it's better you register it as a company, which means the company has its own existing. I, okay, we're back. Yeah,
Welcome back, sir.
yeah. And then you can be a sole proprietor. Like in my consulting business, I just registered as a sole proprietor, and I run my consulting business on the side as well. So it's the system is well regulated, and once you are doing the right thing, you can own your own business, and you don't even need to be a permanent resident to have a business. If you are
Mm.
a temporary resident, although like as a visitor, no, because you are not expected to run anything. You're just a visitor, and you are a visitor. But a temporary resident, you can have your own business if you feel like you're running a business. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. So, how lucrative is that kind of life there? Like, is it something that will bring someone more money, more relaxation than working for the government or working for private institutions and all that?
Look, if you have your own registered business and is well established, that will is that will be the best way to go. If it's well
Mm.
established, because one thing about a business is that where if you are offering a service, you just want to make sure that you are doing something special. You are putting a value. You're having a value added into it. In fact, when you do that, you don't need much promotion. It is that service that you are providing that is going to promote you, because people will start recommending you from one end to another. So that's what is going to happen. And once you are well established, I know a lot of colleagues that are into the business, into, for example, into NDIS business, that they like their business is like into millions. They are running like a $1 million business, employing an employer of labor. I have a friend that has a more than 150 staff that runs a business for him. He's got a like
And
a
they are Nigerian.
yes, yes,
Wow.
yes, yes. He's got like a 7 residential home that he
Mm.
has a client that are
The
living
land
there.
is
He's got a
green, is green.
yeah,
Can't you see, Sister Nike?
yeah,
The land is green for us.
yeah, and he's doing really well, doing really well for himself.
Thank you
So
very
doing
much,
really
sir.
well for
Thank you,
himself.
sir.
Yeah.
Now, back to this question. I know it's still linked to maybe owning personal business and all that.
Mm.
And because you've touched on housing when we started the other time, is it possible for a single person to get mortgage with ease without running into so much debt? Like, uh around here you have to like be two, you and your spouse. Of course there are singles that do get homes, but then it might be easier because those two people are bringing money together. Maybe they will
Mm.
be converting somebody's fee into what the home spends.
Yeah.
But is it possible, let's assume someone comes around with the family, but the spouse is not working and the spouse is looking after the kiddies. Is it possible for them to be able to make enough money from what the second partner that is working is making and be able to secure reasonable, sensible mortgage?
Yes, it is possible, and the secret behind it is that you cut your cloth according to your cloth. If you know, yes, if you know your capacity financially, you don't want to run into, because you've got a friend that the husband is a nurse and the wife is a nurse, or like maybe the husband is into like a reasonable uh, job, and you are into a reasonable job, and they like maybe living in a big fancy house. you want to go and buy a fancy house as well, you probably will run into trouble with that. But if you know your capacity financially, so you don't go for something that you know that is going to put you in a kind of a stress, because sometimes when you continually thinking about where the money is going to come from to pay mortgage, then you probably won't even be having a good sleep. But the truth is that if you go into a property that is not too expensive, it's as good as you renting a house as well. Because when you rent a house, you are just helping somebody to pay off their mortgage. But if you buy something that is reasonable, that is not too expensive, you don't go for a big house that is too expensive, then you will find out the almost the same amount that you'll be paying if you are renting a place. It's the same amount that you'll be paying to pay off your mortgage. And a lot of things that the people do just to keep them at ease. Say, for example, you have a mortgage, and you are hoping that, okay, maybe your partner is going to get a job some few months down the line. There is nothing stopping you in putting that mortgage on a fixed term contract, which means that there is no, you are not going to have any surprises. You can put it on a 3 years fix or 5 years fix. So in the next 5 years you'll be paying the same amount, which the same amount that you have budgeted for. You know that you can cover that amount conveniently in your take home. So hoping and praying that 3, 4, 5 years down the line, your partner will get something. And it's not a crime if you don't even have a partner. If you're a single mom or you're a single dad, you still have to buy something that you know that you can afford, that it will it will still give you a little room to have a bit of a savings, so you don't run into trouble if your washing machine break down or your fridge break down. You start looking for where to get the money to fix it, because you've already committed all your money into paying a fortnight or monthly mortgage.
All
Yeah,
right,
so
sir. Thank you
and
very
so
much,
it,
sir.
it is definitely possible if
All
you
right.
if you manage your finances well.
Thank you. So what sort of bills are there to pay in Australia? In the UK, we pay electricity, we pay water, we pay council tax, we pay television. What do they call those? Their television whatsoever. There is this one a particular insurance we pay on television, road tax. We have so many taxes to pay in the
Yeah.
United Kingdom. So what taxes and bills do you
Yeah.
pay in Australia?
Okay, well, the most important one is that your electricity bill, and then you think about your house mortgage. If you have your own property, at least you will pay mortgage at the end of the month, and other bills that you pay on the houses, the council rate. So council, they do send like a yearly rate which you can pay over a period of time. You can be paying it in bits for the rest of the year. They send you a yearly rate, and yeah, then you probably will consider doing if you have your property, you will consider doing like a mortgage, home loan insurance. It's always good to insure the home. You think of doing the home loan insurance. It's very important to have a life insurance as well, in case anything happened to you, your family don't they won't suffer. And more importantly, people they always frown at it. Have a funeral insurance as well. So if anything happened to you, your family, they don't go cap in hand begging for money to bury you. Ọlọ́run ní jẹ́ kó
Be
kú
doing
wàrà yín.
GoFundMe,
So have a
GoFundMe.
funeral insurance. It, it, they start doing a GoFundMe up and down so look, and people will say, well, are you planning of dying? Why do you need a funeral insurance? It's a very small money. I've been holding a funeral insurance now for the past 10 years. I only pay $10 for my funeral insurance every month. So if anything happened to me today, I know my family will not need to do any GoFundMe to bury me. And I know I've got a good life insurance that is going to help them to keep on without worrying too much about when the next bill is going to come from. Even if I become incapacitated today, I can't work any longer. I've got a disability insurance that will continue to pay me my wages.
Nice.
So those are
Nice,
the
nice,
big ones.
nice.
Those are the basic one. Like if you have a car, you pay like a car registration every year, and the road tax is no, it's not road tax. It's like accident insurance is built into your car registration. That is if you have a car. If you don't have a car, you don't have to pay that.
Okay. So do you pay television? What do we call that? Television, whatever,
No,
insurance in the
no,
UK?
we don't pay anything like that though. We don't pay anything like that.
Ah, all right, sir. So
So
for
let me even ask you with the television thing. So do you pay it per television or you just pay one single one?
you
If
pay
you are
one for
paying
a particular
the
house.
council thing,
So
just
it's
one for a
150
particular house. So
something
it doesn't matter
pounds per
whether
annum.
you have a 5 or 6 TV in that
It
house. You
doesn't
just pay
matter.
one
It
per
doesn't
house.
matter.
Okay, good. Because otherwise, somebody like me will be in trouble. We've got like maybe 7 TV in the house.
I'm sure if we give cleverly that insight is going to come now and say everybody should be paying on television on the because that cleverly is something else. Thank you so very much, sir. Now,
Yeah.
uh you probably had all your children in Australia. I would love to know the types of leaves that are available at workplaces in Australia, and most especially maternity leave, then other leaves. In the UK, there are
Yeah.
different leaves: annual leave, sick leave, or gardening leave, maternity leave, um, study leave, and so many others. What kind of
Yeah.
leaves are
So
available down there?
it's also similar here. So we've got the annual leave. Like if you're working for any establishment, you like for example now nurses, if you're working full time, you will acquire like a 6 weeks annual leave in a year. And it's not important that you have to spend the whole 6 weeks in the whole year. The only thing is that once your annual leave is more than 250 hours, your employer, you start getting a letter or email from HR asking you to take some leave. So you can take out of it and leave the rest and bring it into the new year. So that's for annual leave. And then you can accumulate hours of a sick leave as well, which you can take at when you require it. There are a number of sick leave that you can take without a certificate. I think in a calendar year, you can take up to 3 without certificate, and then you can take another 3. You can use a 3 start deck as well. Then you can fill a start deck that you are taking a time off for so reason within that year, and then you were expected to take some leave with certificate as well. And of course, you have access to study leave as well, which is actually built into the nurses award. Each nurse is allowed to have a number of study leave in a year to update yourself for your own career upgrade. And then you will have something that we call a long service leave as well. Long service leave you can accumulate over a period of years. In fact, like your long service leave will be due by the time you clock 10 years in service, but you people can take it as a pro rata from 7 years. Once you spend the 7 years in that service, you can ask for your long service leave. I think for my long service leave now, I haven't used it at all. I've got like 20, I think 23 weeks or 24 weeks of a long service leave that's just sitting there that I haven't touched at all. I think I've got 23 weeks of long
That's
service
running
leave.
up to 6 months.
Yeah. So I've got up
Ah,
to 23 weeks of
I've
long
never had
service
that
leave.
in the UK, or maybe I don't know. Sister Nike.
Yeah. And you can actually, they allow you to take your long service leave as half pay. So, like, say, if I've got a 6 months worth of long service leave, I can make it a half pay and just go for the next 1 year, and I just get a half pay, and then I can be on leave for the next 1 year. And then you have a bereavement leave as well. If you are bereaved, they give you a bereavement leave. I think the bereavement leave is 4 days. And then there is a family violence leave as well. I think that was introduced like 2 years ago. Like if you are experiencing,
How many weeks would that
no,
be?
it's not. It's not weeks. It's like you can go for like 3 days. If
Doesn't be
you if you
family
if you are
violence.
experiencing a
May we
family
not
violence and
anirogun ajalu.
yeah. So I think that was introduced. Yeah, I think 2 years ago or 3 years ago. That you can take some time off if you need to go to court or you need to go do something that is related to family violence, so you can take some leave. Take some
Family
leave to do.
violence leave.
Yeah, to do that. Mm.
Okay. Thank you, sir. So you touched on um being paid for sick leave or something like that. Is it like they expect that someone must take sick leave per annum or
No,
whatsoever?
no, 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 no. In fact, I've got some of my staff that have got like 3,000 hours sick leave that they haven't taken. They don't. You don't have to take it. You can have your sick leave hours there. But the trouble is that if you resign from any job, you cannot cash out your sick leave hours.
So how many
So,
hours do
and
they
which
expect
is
someone to go
quite
on sick leave
common
per
if you see
annum?
some people, if they got accumulated sick leave hour. It doesn't matter. You can go for a sick leave for the rest of the year. I have a staff now that have been on sick leave in the last since April this year. That is just
And they will be
turning
paying the
2 weeks.
person.
Yeah, absolutely,
Ah,
absolutely,
hey, Olugbalaga.
absolutely. Once you are bringing in a certificate, you get paid.
Hey, Father Lord.
Yeah.
May we never be sick. Oh.
No, no. In fact, on few occasions that I've have to travel overseas to look after my dad, I get a sick leave certificate from Nigeria. And even though I'll travel with annual leave, I get a sick leave certificate from the hospital where it's being managed. And when I come back, they return my annual leave back to me and convert it to carers leave for me. So you can have a
Hey,
carers leave as well. So if
how
you
many
have
how many days Kara leaves per annum?
no, there's no number of days. Like you can take as many as possible.
So who are the people that are entitled? Because in the UK, if you are a family people and you have children, like if
Mm.
you have people at the two extremes of life, the very young, the very old, you can take carers leave. If you have people who are specially able, then you
Mm.
can take carers leave to look after them. Or if you have someone, maybe they are able, but they have some illnesses at some point in time. Is it the same style? Or
No, no,
okay.
no. If my wife is having a headache today and I decide to make a tea for her and that I just want to give her some TLC, I can take a carer's leave. It doesn't. I can take a carer's leave and look after her. Like
Mr. Nike.
the last time when when I have to travel to Nigeria when my dad was sick, I was in Nigeria for 3 weeks, and I came back. I took a carer's leave certificate from Nigeria, and I submitted it back to work, and they returned all my annual leave that I used in traveling back to me, and changed it to carer's leave for me. But your carer's leave comes out of your sick leave hours. So all the carers leave, it comes out of your sick leave hours. So like they return it back to me in carers leave. So if you like, there have been a couple of times that the kids couldn't go to school for one reason or the other. Maybe they just wake up feeling sick. I just ring them at work that I won't be coming today. If I need to take them to GP or anything like that, I just ring work that I'm not coming in today. So I get paid for carers leave.
Okay, so you get paid for carers leave. Will you still be paid for your regular shift for that day?
No, no, no.
Okay. So
You
the
all
payment
what you
coverage
get
for
is
that
the
day is
carers leave.
just carers.
Carers leave
Is it
hours. You don't
lesser
get.
than the normal working hour
Yes.
rates? All right.
No.
How much less is the less?
No, no, it's not lesser. So you will be paid as if No, it's not. You will be paid as if you are working from 8:30 to 5.
Okay. All right, sir.
Yeah, so you will be paid as if you are working from 8:30 to 5.
Okay.
Although if you are the type that work shift hours, it doesn't matter whether maybe you are running a course of a night shift at that time. So that is the only way you can maybe be short of some few extra dollars, because for example, they pay you different rates for different shifts. You get different rates for morning shift, different rate for afternoon shift, different rate for night shift, different rate for weekend. So if you take a carer's leave, maybe on Saturday, you are supposed to work on Saturday, and you take a carer's leave, they are not going to pay you a Saturday rate. They will just pay you as if you are working from Monday to Friday, 8:30 to
Okay.
5. So that's the
Oh,
only way you can lose money. Yeah.
okay. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Thank you. And how about maternity leave? In the UK, we can have 9 months
Yeah. So
leave
with
paid some
maternity,
way, somehow.
yeah, here you can have 12.
12
So you
months,
can be on maternity leave for 12. Yes, for 12 months. So you can be
and the
on
person will
maternity
be
leave
paid.
for 12 months. Yes. So work will pay you for 6 months. Your employer will pay you for 6 months. So the remaining 6 months will be paid by the government. So if you want to go for 12 months, you can take a 12 months maternity leave. So the remaining 6 months will be paid through Medicare.
Okay.
So the remaining 6 months, so you can go for maternity leave for 12 months.
All right. So is there a particular percentage of someone's wages that come as maternity pay? Or is it the same amount the
Now
person was earning before going to leave,
it
they will
is
be earning?
is the same is the same amount is the same amount is the same amount you are earning before you leave work. It's the same amount.
So
So it's the same amount, and you can
when
most
gov
people take 12 months. Most
okay.
most people will go for 12 months.
All right, thank you, sir. When Medicaid or Medicare or whoever government takes over at the 7th month, how much will they be paying?
They still pay you the same amount.
Okay, so for the
So
first six
so
months, Medicare will not pay at all.
no. Your employer will pay you the first 6 months.
All right. So it does means that if someone decides not to take this whole 12 months, the person they just lose money to Medicaid or be Medicare.
Look, yeah, in some ways, because the amount that the government pays you is means tested anyway. So it's not like you are getting a free money as such. Because at the end of the financial year, when you do your tax return, you're gonna lose there some money anyway. So you might as well just spend the 6 months and return back to work. In some ways, you lose the you. It's not like they're giving you free money for that period. So if you don't want to take it, like if you don't mind, because at the end of the financial year you're going to lose some money, because they will put that into consideration when you do your tax return.
All right.
So if you don't mind, that's fine. You just want to have a complete rest for 1 year, that's fine.
All right.
And
Thank you
that's
very much,
why
sir.
hardly you will see our people that will go for that 12 months. At the most they'll do like a 7 months or 8 months. Yeah,
I did
because we
nine
love
months
money a
and I
lot.
returned. All right, sir. So moving to schooling now for the kiddies. At what age do they start? What would they be paying? What level is free and all that?
So with school, the school year starts from age 5. And I'll use Victoria as an example. For a child to be able to start a regular school, it means that child will have turned 5 by 1st of April. In that year, in that school year, they will have turned 5 by 1st of April in that school year. and the school year, and then they start from prep. Prep is like a pre-primary one, and then they continue like that from till they finish year 12. So the primary school finishes at year 6. So they'll have a primary school graduation, and they start year 7. Year 7, that's when the high school starts. So public schools are free. You don't pay anything for public schools. For primary school and high school, they're all free. Private school, their cost differs from one private school to another. The cheapest one in private school are the Catholic schools. The Catholic schools are not that so expensive. Like maybe you pay like maybe 5,000 or 6,000 a year. Other private school might go as far as there are some private schools in Melbourne that cost like 40,000, 35,000 in a year. And in our Shepparton, the one that my kids goes is the primary school is 15,000, secondary school is around 20,000
per annum.
per annum, but the public schools are free.
20,000.
Yeah.
So if I have 4 children now, the whole money they will pay me per annum is gone.
Actually, okay, I'll give you one example. There is one of the private school, they have a very good system in place. So if you have the first child in that private school, they only pay 4,000 per annum. The private school is owned by one of the Pentecostal churches. And the second child will have a 10% reduction in the fee. The third child will have a 25% reduction in the fee. The fourth child will have a 50% reduction in the fee. The fifth child doesn't pay anything. From the
So may
fifth
we go
child,
on now.
from the fifth child is free.
Okay. So I
So
just borrow my friend's children, join my children, so that they will not pay. Yeah. All right. Thank you, sir. Yeah. It's coming clearer to us now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I want to know, doing extra works. What does it
Yeah.
entail? The one Australia called fly in, fly out, that we call agencies here in the UK. What does it entail? And
Look,
how lucrative is it?
yeah,
How
well,
heavily are the wages taxed?
look, it's a very good thing if you are very clever with it. And I mean clever in the sense that if you are not careful, you just realize that you are working for the taxman.
Okay.
Yeah, and in the sense that if you're working full time, you've got a full time work. There is a certain percentage of tax that you pay for working full time. Once your wages start increasing, then your tax bracket goes up as well, to the point that you might be paying like a 40 something percent tax on the extra wage that you're earning. So you can now imagine if you like earn extra 2,000 for doing some local job, and then you are losing like almost $1,000 out of that to taxman. Then you have to ask yourself whether it's worth it or not. So I get clever with my own how I go about it. I don't like if you doing it if you're doing those extra job through using like the agency. If you are using the agency, like they pay you more, you might be earning like a 80,000. Sorry, $80, $100 per hour. It's a good
I
money.
actually saw 109 per hour, and I was wondering.
Yeah, yeah, it's a good money. You get
The
paid as much
Northern
as.
Territory.
Yeah, but the trouble is that because it's a second job for you, if you've got a regular job, but if that is the only job that you're doing, yes, you get paid. I know some of the guys that works with me that like will hand like a 5, 6 thousand at the end of on a weekly basis. That is per
5,
week.
6,000 per
Yeah,
week.
per week, per week.
And how many
Like they
days work would
just
they do?
like some of them will work like maybe do out of a 7 days 7 days a shift. They might just have one day off. They will work 6 days, and out of that 6 days, 3 days out of that 6 days, they're working double shift. They're working
Okay.
double shift like morning and evening, morning and evening. Some will do evening and night, and just have one day off at the end of because most of the agency they pay them per week, but regular staff get paid per fortnight because their agency will pay them every week. But I don't do that. What I do is that instead of me going through the agency, I go straight to the employer.
Okay.
So when I go to the employer, I get recruited directly by the employer as a casual staff. And the reason why I do that is because even though I don't have a benefit to annual leave or anything because I'm a casual staff, but I have a benefit to what they call a salary packaging.
Yeah.
And what that
I
means,
was to ask about salary packaging later. When
yeah,
you are done with this, then you go into
yeah,
salary packaging.
yeah. So and how that helps me is that because those job that I'm doing is a second job for me, and it comes at a very high tax bracket. But because I salary package, what they now do is that there's a certain amount that I can salary package on a yearly basis. So they will take that money out of the gross that I earn for that fortnight. It is whatever is left that they will salary pack, they
Tax.
will tax. So at the end of the day, sometimes if I work for a fortnight, I might pay like maybe $100, $200 tax. So I still get my money back from a salary package. Although what I'm earning per hour is lower to what somebody that is doing a true agency will hand. Maybe my own per hour will be like maybe around $80, $65. If I work during the week, it will be like around $65. If it is weekend, it will be like $80 per hour.
Mm.
So, but it
Okay.
works well for me in that way because I'm not paying so much a tax on like somebody that is advertising 109 or 106 for you.
Mm-hmm.
Like out of that 106, you'll be surprised like maybe 30 something a dollar or $40 will go into tax out of it.
000.
Yeah.
If they put 30 something dollars from 109, what does
Yeah.
that remain?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, sir. Thank you very much, sir. That's
Mm.
I think that's clear. People in the house, if you can please type your questions in the comment area, it will be very helpful to everyone so that I'm not the only one. I know I've pulled these questions from what people asked, but then some people might still have their own questions.
Mm-hmm.
So please kindly ask your questions so that Uncle Charles will throw light on it. Now, I have this question. Which establishment is good to work with? Government, private, aged care, regular hospital care, community, virtual working, like working from home and all those ones. Which one is much more lucrative?
Uh, I would say like government is more lucrative and more better regulated than
Structured.
private. Yeah. Yeah, they are better regulated than private. Look, and then when you now compare that to working in aged care, if you've got a passion for working in aged care is not working in aged care. You need to have a passion for it. Yes, they've got their own separate award. HK pays okay, the wage is good, and there's a reason why they made it that way because it's one of the areas that most people don't want to work, so they use the money to attract a few people. Because so sometimes, like if that is your career path that you want to have for yourself, you just restrict yourself to it and you build yourself up in that line. Then you need to be a very passionate person and you need to have a lot of patience to work in aged care. But if you are the type that is a high flying, go 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 go, well then I would say like you just stick to working in a public setting. you can pick your own specialty, which area that you want to specialize in. Yeah, private is not, if it's a well-established private, it's not that bad. But in my experience, there are a number of privates that they just they focus more on their bottom line. You struggle to have a fair go, because they will, in my experience, they will consider their own bottom line, their dollar, before they prioritize you having a fair working environment.
All right. Thank you, sir. So, of all the states in Australia, which state pays best?
I believe at this stage, I would say it's between Western Australia and Queensland.
Thank you. Those
Yeah,
two, they
yeah,
look like, to me
yeah,
too. I think they are the best.
yeah,
I think I used to think Queensland is the best. Then
yeah,
looking at the pet is, I mean, Western Australia is the home of oil. So
yeah,
I've started thinking maybe they pay more, but I
yeah,
think I used to think Queensland is the best too.
yeah,
All right,
yeah.
sir. So
So
are there reasons
between
for that?
uh like a lot of reasons. Of course, Western Australia is quite understandable, because they have a lot of money in there.
Oh yeah, money.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And but the truth is that those oil money is not even owned by the none of the oil is owned by the or mining is owned by the government. They are all privately owned, but it's to help boost the economy of the town.
Yeah,
But
definitely. They will pay
yeah,
taxes, they will
yeah,
employ.
exactly,
Yeah, yeah.
exactly,
So
exactly.
it will just be going
Yeah,
round,
it's like a revolving door, like
recycling the
the
money.
recycling the money. But
Okay.
the truth is that the cost of living in Western Australia is a bit high as well. So you need to consider that too. Because so it comes. In fact, I know a lot of people that work in the mining and the oil company that they don't live in Western Australia because it's too expensive for them. Do you know where
It
they
will
live?
be
They
where?
live in Bali.
Bali. I say,
Yes, yes, in Indonesia. That's where many
oh,
of them live. Yes. So once they come in from the rig, they just fly out to Indonesia to spend their 2 weeks, 2 weeks off. So they stay
ah,
in an hotel. It's more cheaper for them to do that. It's cheaper for them to do that. So they go to Bali in Indonesia for 2 weeks, and then they return back to work from Bali. It's cheaper for them to do that.
okay, okay. All right, sir. Now, this question, why don't we have Australian nurses running around the world?
Uh Look, the truth is that Australians they don't travel that much. That I found out. They're not. They do go on holiday, but their holiday is just going on holiday for fun, traveling to Fiji Island, going to Bali, going to some of the islands surrounding Australia. You hardly see a lot of Australian traveling to like Europe, going to the US to explore. In fact, I know some people that doesn't even leave their area. I know people that lives in Shepparton that will tell you maybe they go to Melbourne twice in a year. So they don't have any reason to leave Shepparton, even though Shepparton is just 2 hours a drive, 2 hours a drive down the road to Melbourne CBD. So, but and then when you look at it this way, like Australian labor market is very lucrative. They pay really is well regulated. They pay better than most places. To be honest with you, not only nurses now. If you go on holiday to the US, you will see a lot of people that works in the restaurant that get paid $6, $7 an hour. You see people that do healthcare assistance a job in the US, and I'm not kidding you because my sister has a business there that they're getting paid $11 $12 an hour. You will never pay that to even my girl that is in a grade 11. She will never collect that kind of a wage from you. People that are in secondary school, they are grade 10, grade 11. The minimum that you will pay them is around $16. That's the minimum that you will pay them to do any job for you. The minimum you will pay them is $16. But in Australia, they get paid better. Like for example, now in the UK, you see people starting price, they get paid 34,000, 36, 38. If you're lucky, maybe you get 40 as a band five, isn't it?
Am I
As
cast
band
one
five.
now?
Yeah, but Australia will never pay you anything less than you. Your starting rate will be around from 80,000 80,000 upward. And if you
Yeah,
convert it,
but Australians 80,000 is just like UK's 40,000 you mentioned.
no, no, maybe not, maybe not. It's not a 1 to 2 like that. So Australian 80,000 would be like a UK 45,000. But how many band five are getting paid? Are getting paid 45,000 in UK? Maybe I don't know if there is any. Even if you work
No,
in nursing
it's
home,
even
I
for
don't think
band six. That would be for topmost
if
band
you
six.
even if you are working in nursing home, I don't think they will pay you 45,000 as a band five. No.
Nah.
Even if you are working in nursing home. I know nursing home pays better in UK. So when you compare that, like you probably started thinking, does it worth it? Do I is that the wage I want to earn? Yeah. So those are the things that I think most people, apart from the fact that traditionally Australians they don't travel that much.
They are contented.
Yeah, just contented and they're happy in their own world. They're contented with what they've got.
Now, workplace support for internationally educated nurses. How robust is that in Australia? Just a second,
Uh,
sir.
yeah.
Yeah, I've had my eating on and I was getting really like
Mm-hmm.
dehydrated. So, how robust is workplace support for internationally educated nurses in Australia? And is it better from state to state? Which state will you finger point that maybe have better policy for people coming from the diaspora?
Yeah, I don't think it is a state base. It is actually work like establishment base. There is no like a statewide policy that says this is what needs to happen. It boils down to the tradition, the culture of that particular establishment. And if the establishment has a good culture, they like known to attract a lot of people from overseas, then you will find a very good program. That is like for example now, we've got a whole department like in Gobon Valley Health. That this is all what they do when you are recruiting someone and you send after you've confirmed the person you've done the interview, they have a whole department in the HR, so they will get in touch with you. They will seek your permission to reach out to this person. They will reach out to them. They start giving them all the lowdown. They help them coming in. They help them with accommodation, help them with finding a school for their kids, settle them down, introduce them to different services in town, and then coming down to work a place. You have like a body that will support you through a certain period of time. You have a good period, like orientation period where you get used to the system, get used to the service, and I always encourage you to embrace a clinical supervision where you have opportunity of where to turn to if you need to talk to someone in a very safe place. a safe space where you can discuss your practice, your every other thing that is happening around you. I have like for example, I have number of people that I provide a supervision for, and some of them are just new employee that are just getting into the system. And then some establishments will have people that are like identified as a mentor, and they just say like, okay, well, we want you to make friends with so person, just help them to settle down. A lot of the time they always reach out to me if someone is coming from Nigeria, exact, because we my hospital do attract a lot of people from Nigeria, doctors and nurses. Even when they are not nurses, if they are doctors, HR will call me and say, hey, we've got this so person, can you help out? And I'll reach out to them, show them around in town. They come to my house to eat ogbono and all that, just to have a feel of home, get them settled down. On my own bill, they don't say give me money to do that. I just help to settle them down.
To integrate them into the.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you are familiar with the Gobon Valley Health recruitment website, you'll probably see a lot of my videos there and all that. Just to promote.
Oh,
Oh yeah. If you go online, go on the Gobon Valley recruitment website, you'll see a lot of my videos there.
oh, nice.
Introducing the establishment, talking about the Gobon Valley and all that, bringing more people in. So yeah, that is my video, family video, and all that. Like if you go on YouTube,
That
if you
was
go
where
on YouTube,
Magic goofed. I asked
yeah,
that Magic to look clearly with Bodami. Magic was just going everywhere. Anyway, I believe it was the policy. Now
yeah.
they started reaching out to me to give me 186. 186 that I begged them for, that they were doing like Omolodu. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much, sir. You mentioned
Yeah.
Ogbono, and I just remember that there was a time you were telling me in Nigeria that they have the is it they plant a wedu in Australia, or they have a wedu and that is
Yeah.
as tall as a human being?
Yes. There are there. So you can buy fresh ewedu. Like there's frozen one, but like if you are living in my area, you can get a fresh ewedu, like a very fresh, straight from the farm.
Seriously, you're not Tabaja.
Yes, yes, yes,
It's
yes.
going to draw very well.
Very well. Tell my yoga, seriously.
Wow. So that's fine. So how readily available are African delicacies around local
Yeah.
foods and all those things? How readily available are
Well,
they?
things have really improved. Like we have like in Melbourne now, there is a Nigerian restaurant, there is African restaurant. We don't have one in Shepparton, but we have people that are caterer, that they do cook for people. There are some young families or single guys, medical doctors that they don't have time to cook. So we've got like a caterer that will cook a whole week a meal for them. They just pack in their fridge. But if you go to like Melbourne, there is a Nigerian restaurant there that you eat whatever you want, whatever. But then if you like buying Nigerian food and all that, in fact, like it's like for example, now in my Shepparton now there are like three different places where you can buy Nigerian food, and they are not Nigerian. They are all the people selling it. They are all Arabs, but there are Nigerian. There are warehouse right in Melbourne where they get it from, because they know like a lot of us do buy it, so they get it from a like warehouse in Melbourne, and the prices are like quite a very reasonable.
All right, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, so
How
it's
well
readily available.
bonded are Africans in Australia? Maybe you can take a case study of your state. In the UK, we sort of have this BAME, Black and Asian minority whatsoever. And if anything is happening to one, we quickly, like, we solidarize. It's like an injury to one is
Mm.
injury to all. Do we have, or do you have something like that in
Oh
Australia that
yes,
gives?
yes, absolutely, and it's quite interesting that the way we even bonded, you won't believe it. Like we just say, for example, now you probably might be aware that I'm actually the president for the Yoruba Association in
Now I'm
Victoria.
not aware, just getting to know.
Yes, well, I am the president for the Yoruba Association in Victoria,
Congratulations,
and
sir.
yeah, and I've been the president for that association now for like for 4 years,
Okay.
and not only that, we even have the Ekitikete Association of Victoria.
Ah,
In
so
fact, we just 2 weeks ago we had the Ekiti Cultural Day,
okay,
and we have Ibadan Progressive Association of Victoria.
okay,
That's just to bring it down to the basics. Then we now have the Nigerian Society of Victoria, and then we have the Igbo Association of Victoria. We have the Arewa Association of Victoria. So we have like different fora like that where people come together. And if you're having any activities, we'll come together. And we not only just exist to celebrate and have fun. If anybody is in trouble, people are in some sort of a crisis, we band together. I'll give you an example. We had a tragedy struck sometimes last year. We lost a very young person that just suddenly collapsed at work and died, and he's got a very young family. The wife is just very new. He has been living in Australia for 5 years. The wife is just very new, only spent a couple of months. They've got two young kids. The wife is heavily pregnant. The
hmm,
entire when this guy passed away, even though he's been living in Victoria for 5 years, I've never met him before. I don't even know him. And all the people that I think will know him does not even know him because like he doesn't come to community. There are few people like that, but regardless of that, the entire community band together. We rally around him. We organized his funeral, supported the wife and the kids, and like it was, and it's like that. Is the people like, and there's been some other even a sad event, similar sad event like that has happened. People will rally around together and band together and support each other, and we'll have a lot of activities, community well-being, information session. If anything come up, we share the information. We invited the embassy down to do. We don't have to travel to the embassies to do passport. Once in a year, we invite them down. We coordinate it to everybody that wants to renew their passport. You don't have to travel to Canberra to do that. They could bring it to Melbourne to do for us. We do all sort of things like that. So
hmm,
it's a very well knitted community.
community. That's
Mm.
nice. That's nice. So if there's trouble at workplace, there will be people
Oh yes,
to
absolutely,
shout.
absolutely,
And bringing me
absolutely.
to the issue of racism. So is that a culture in Australia?
Uh, Look, my own opinion is that racism is a culture throughout the world, everywhere, even in Nigeria.
Ben,
That is why if you are from Ekiti, you will struggle to get a state job in Oshun because they will
in
ask you to
Osho.
go back. They will ask you to go back to your state. That yeah, the job here is for the Oshun people, not for Ekiti people. And look, I tell people the best way is to when it happened, you shine a light on it. You call it out, and then learn to rise above it. Don't allow a racist to drag you down. Learn to rise above it. So it's everywhere. The only thing that is curbing people is because the government has a culture that frown against it. That you know that even if you are doing it in a subtle way, if you get caught, you'll probably be in a big mess for it. So even those that want to like that is in their genes to discriminate against you, they're always very careful with it. And when you call them out, they back up very quickly. So it is everywhere. That's my. In fact, I mentor a lot of young people, and it will come up in our interaction, and I just say, look, why do you allow the person to rob you of your joy? Why
Hmm.
do you allow that? You rise above it. For example, like I used to joke with people when I go out with my colleague. We go out maybe we go out for a dinner or for some occasion, when they bring in their partner to such occasion, the very best first way they want to strike a conversation with you is, oh, where do you come from? And when anybody, I've got a ready-made answer for that. When you ask me where did I come from, I said, tell you I'm from Shepperton. They said, oh, well, I mean, where you're from originally. I said, oh, that would be North Shepperton. They said, well, where you are from before you came to Shepperton? Oh, that would be Melbourne. So no, I don't mean it that way. I mean where you are from before you actually came to Australia. Oh, that's what you mean. That is West Africa, Nigeria. He said, okay. So allow that to rest. Then I'll ask you, so what about you? Where are you from? And they look at me very strangely. Say, well, I'm from here. I say, well, I'm surprised you can't be from here. You don't look like an aboriginal to me. He said, oh. My great grandfather lives from Scotland. He said, that's where you are from. You are from Scotland. So have you been to Scotland before? Have you traveled back before? So we started having conversation. And I use that to break down the barrier. I use that to break down the barrier. Some people will tell us, oh, where do you learn to speak a very good English like this? I say, well, I don't learn. I just speak. So how do you mean? So because where I come from, the language that we speak is English. So I don't learn to speak English. I just speak. I can't remember when I learned it. I just speak. So I don't know what you're talking about. And you just use that to break down the barrier, to
Their
break down the
backbone, the
conversation
backbone of the
barrier. Yeah,
busybody.
yeah.
They are
They say, oh,
bringing
you
on.
speak a good English. And so, so did you go to school here? I said, no, I didn't go to school here. And you just use that to start having a conversation with people.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so very much. Around the world, there are crimes that are prominent. In the United States of America, we all know what they are
Mm-hmm.
in for,
Mm,
the Jagamu people. And
mm.
in the United Kingdom, some factions are into knife crimes. Is there any prominent crime in Australia? And are there areas that one need to be worried of that
Mm.
one should not like want to jump into coming from the diaspora?
Uh, Look, there are like areas, even in the metro area, there are some suburb, like you will say that look, they are high crime area, and one of the things that will inform that is that if there is a high prevalence of a drug use, low socioeconomic area, the people don't have that much opportunity, and yeah, so it's not uncommon to have increase. And most of the crime that is common, you will see is like people are getting into physical fights. Yeah, like, yeah, there is no, they don't run. The gun is not something that you use in Australia. They don't run a gun around. Like, people can get into a knife fight. Yeah, physical fight is very common, and in most time is like it happens in during night hours, in a pub, in a club, all those kind of a thing. And if you know that something like that is going to happen, yeah, why do you need to go to a club anyway? Even if you're the type that drink, why don't you drink in your house? Why do you need to go into a club to do
It's
that?
fraternizing on it.
Yeah, it's a part of a fraternization. You're right. But if you have a sense that there's likelihood of disobedience and all that happening in there, then you might just want to consider avoiding the place outrightly. So those such a crime, and you don't see much of a burglary. Like if people if they steal your cars because maybe they want to go somewhere and they don't have a means of going, and there's a crime of opportunity. Maybe they open the car and you forgot the key on the ignition, and they'll just drive your car away until they run the petrol dry and they park it somewhere and they
Hey,
leave your
Father
car
Lord.
there. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
They just park it somewhere and leave your car there. If they burgle into your house, they probably, maybe if you're smoking cigarette, they want to steal cigarette in your house, or they find your wallet on the kitchen table. They want to steal your car there to go spend some money on it or something like that.
Hmm. Wonderful. Thank you so very
Mm,
much, sir.
mm.
Thank you. It's been a big time with you, sir.
Yes,
Yes, I appreciate your presence. I appreciate
that's
your
all right.
presence. The
That's
other
all
time
right.
you were counseling me, you talked about some trainings you did that you preferred spending your money to take those courses rather than using your employer's money.
Yeah.
Yeah, could you expatiate on why you took that decision?
Look, I'm the type that I'm always like very intentional in what I do. There are some certain things that look, your employer, even though you have access to doing some certain training, but they want you to justify why you needed to do that training. And if you can't give any valid reason, they probably will push back and say, okay, well, we haven't got money. And sometimes, like if you really want to have that training done, my advice to you is that if it's not free, if it's going to cost you money, and then you will need to go for like 2 days, which they will have to pay your salary for that 2 days when you're gone, and then it's going to require the hotel accommodation and all that. I will encourage you to pay for that training. Maybe ask them to foot your hotel bill, use your own transport, or you foot the hotel bill and use the hospital transport. Show cost that you are willing to give something as well. And some certain training that they would say, because it's not related to what you are doing now, that they don't see what value is going to bring to your current
Role.
schedule, your current role. So, but if you know the reason why you are doing that training, you might as well just do it on your own back. For example, now, like I remember when I did some core competency training in forensics. Then the time I did those training, I was working in case management. Even though I try to justify that it's because I've got some very high risk clients that have got increased forensic history and blah blah blah, they still knock it back and said, "Look, we don't think that even if that is the case, you really don't need a core competency training in forensic."
Mm.
But because I have a keen interest, I decided to go. I said, okay, well, if you're gonna pay for my study leave, I'm happy to pay for those training myself. They said, okay, well, we can pay your study leave. You can do the training by yourself. So I paid for it, but it paid off. So I had all those training, and a few years down the line, they decided to create a role of a forensic clinical specialist. I just jumped into it, and and it worked really well for me because I went for the interview. I was surprised at most of the questions that they're asking me. Like, there are things that I've done in all those training, and halfway into the interview question, the head of the panel just said, "Look, we've got to stop." I said, "You want us to continue?" He said, "Because you've turned this interview into a lecture class. You've already touched on the other questions that we needed to ask you. So there's no point in continue asking the question because you've say
Wow.
it will be like you are repeating yourself."
Wow.
Even
Wonderful. Wonderful.
right there, I knew that I'm gonna get that job. Like the
Yeah.
interview, like maybe 3 or 4 people into the job, I knew that. In fact, I came out of it. My director saw me on the corridor after the interview. Yeah, she came to me and said, "Oh, can I hug you?" I said, "Yeah, you can hug me." I said, "You really make me proud. You made me proud in there. I was so impressed with how you handle yourself." I said, "Thank you."
Nice. 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 Thank you,
Yeah,
sir. This
yeah.
big part in the United Kingdom, our healthcare is free.
Mm.
How is it
So
up in
So
down under.
healthcare is free in Australia as well, but there's a caveat on it. So for you to enjoy free healthcare, you need to be a permanent resident.
Yeah, which most of
Yeah,
us coming, we definitely want to be. People
yeah,
186,
yeah,
189,
yeah.
190, 491 at
Yes,
your fingertips.
yes. So you have a free. So with that, you have a Medicare. So when you
Okay.
have a Medicare, you like a public health service is free. You don't have to pay. Even when you go, most of the GP, there are some GP that they will say you pay some out of pocket, but most of the GP they don't charge you anything. The bulk bill is all free. You don't have to pay anything when you go to GP.
So what
So
does
it's
bulk
it's
billing
a,
entails?
so bulk billing, like if you go to GP that bulk bills, it means that whatever service they provide for you is for free. You don't have to pay anything. But there are some GP that they will tell you that you need to do out of pocket.
Okay.
So they will say if they bill you out of pocket will mean like they bill you like now I've got a heart condition. I do see a specialist like once every 6 months because she's a specialist. She doesn't bulk bill, so I pay out of pocket. So usually when I go like that, she will bill me one. I think she normally bill me $130. When I pay that $130, they will like swipe my Medicare card, and within minutes, Medicare will pay back $76 into my account. I'll pay $130 to them. Medicare will pay back a $76 into my account. So technically, what I'm paying is like around 50 something dollar. So that is the out of pocket that I'm paying. So that's how it works.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. That's
Mm.
that's quite understandable. I learned that ambulances are paid for because in our humble UK, people don't pay for NHS ambulances.
Okay.
So how is it that ambulances are being paid for in Australia?
This is how it works. So if you call an ambulance for emergency service, if it is an emergency, maybe somebody is bleeding and all that, and they call an ambulance to pick you up, you don't actually pay for that ambulance. If it's an emergency service, they pay bringing you to, but there is a gray area because you have to determine what is an emergency service anyway, because it's subject to their own interpretation. But if you if you know that the ambulance cover per year is $100, I pay $100 for the entire family for the whole year. So when you have a cover, regardless of whatever you call ambulance for, you don't pay anything. When
Hmm.
you have an ambulance cover, it's free. You don't, and what I pay as ambulance cover for the entire family of four is $100. I pay $100 every year. So if you have that, you have a ambulance cover. In fact, like now, I'm actually holding two different ambulance cover because I have a private health insurance that covers a ambulance as well. And on top of that, I also pay ambulance cover separately to ambulance Victoria. I pay $100 per year for the entire family separately. And I remember the last time we used an ambulance that my wife was having a reaction to some particular medication, and I call an ambulance. So with that, they don't classify it as an emergency, even though we went to the emergency room and she was given some shot of adrenaline and she was fine. So a few weeks later, they sent a bill of 4,500 to my house, but they put a note there. They said the reason why they are sending the bill to me is that they find out that I've got a private health insurance. So they quietly ask if I don't mind sending the bill to my insurance company. But if I don't feel comfortable sending it to them, then I should just forget about the bill. So they just
Lojo.
wanted to collect the money from the insurance company anyway. Well, I just wrote them back. I said, thank you very much. I don't feel like
This,
sending it to my insurance company.
this is your load. Carry it. So they should carry their cross. It was their
Yeah,
cross at
yes.
that point
Because
in
they put a note there. They said, look, we know that you have an ambulance cover, but if you
only.
haven't got an ambulance cover, this is how much it's going to cost you. We also realize that you've got a private health insurance. So if you don't mind, could you send that bill to your private health insurance? But I just said no, that I'm not sending it to them.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, lots of things covered here. I don't know what to ask again. I don't know but that to go and sleep. My people are not asking questions. I wish people could ask questions. I wish people could ask questions. But besides healthcare work, are there other lucrative professions
Okay,
around in Australia?
I can see one question here from Vera. I think we've answered that question before. She's
Maybe
asking
before
if
they came. Yeah.
she's asking if the children at school are free, and the answer is yes. If they are in public school, the school is free. If they are in public school,
Wow. Thank you, sir. Oh, Mr. Oluvayo is here, my consistent supporter, my cheerleader. Thank you so much, sir. He's actually appreciating Uncle Charles. I'm sure you will want to snatch Uncle Charles from me and take him to your channel. I release him to you wholeheartedly. So, Uncle Peter Oluvayo, I'll be happy to watch you quizzing Charles, because I know he's always very much ready to help every one of us and to make Nigerian nurses comfortable. So feel free to snatch him from me for a while, but don't forget we are both from Ekiti. So anything you do there, be very sure that it's my goal of life. Mr. Animashan, I'm very grateful. Thank you for shining lights here. Mr. Law, you are always there for me. Yeah, giving me all the necessary support. Thank you, Vera. I've got a sister in you. Sister Yenike, I love you from the moon to the back. Vera said, Bansis don't end that, sir. Why are you casting us? We earn good money in the UK. Our pounds is multiplied by 2 of whatsoever Australia says they are earning. When they say they have 100,000, that's just our 50,000. So it's not about yeah. Mujidat said, how can one get government job in Australia? Well, maybe but that will want to answer, but I know there are loads of jobs outside there,
yeah,
like water. They are just recruiting
yeah,
people everywhere. So far you have your registration, wish you could be bold enough to go through Australian pathway yourself. If you are coming from Nigeria, in that sense, you need to have your IELTS band 7 across modules, or 350 in OET across modules, or Pearson test of English of 65 across modules. If you do that, then you create your account, make a payment to APRA. After making payment to APRA, you will need to present NCLEX. If you've written NCLEX for the USA or Canada, you can actually port it to APRA. And if you can do that, that's fine. If you can't, then you will need to go and take Australian NCLEX. When you're done with that, you will write OSCE. Australian OSCE as of today is 4,000 Australian dollars. So if you have that kind of money, good, please go, because it's not going to waste your time. But if you don't have that kind of money, I would just say respect your wallet. Like many of us, even those of us in the UK, that we are any big pounds that have Australian money. We still respect the pathway of New Zealand because it is the easiest, it is the cheapest. When they roll out CBT and OSCE next year, we're going to see how it's going to look like. If it's not capital intensive, I can promise you is the best pathway to it. But the only thing I don't like is that Australia keeps stealing nurses that are registered in New Zealand. They are not being kind. And I learned now that they are even forming building muscles that they will not accept New Zealand's NCLEX, which doesn't make sense to me. They should not be dictating. APRA should not act, and NMBA should not dictate to New Zealand Board of Nursing. So they should just stay their day. But that please help us to warn your people. Yeah, not Obama now. Yeah, now they said there's a particular school that was before Vera came in. Catholic school, you pay some amount of money. Then there is this particular school that your first child will pay 100%. Your second child will pay 25% lesser. Then the next one will pay 50% lesser. The third one will pay, the first one will pay how much? But I've lumped everything together. But at some point, the fifth child will
Yeah.
not pay anything. So please keep giving back.
Mhm.
But that please explain that for my
Yeah,
people so that
so with that particular school, so the second child will pay the 15% less, the third was 25, the fourth is 50, and if you have the fifth child is 0.
all right. So there's this question, Mr. Charles, how about visiting visa during maternity for parents, and how long can they stay in a year? I know your father-in-law used to go to Australia like he was just going to the market, but that please explain to us, how did you do it? Because
So
Papa in his
for
days was just going and going and going.
yeah, so for parents it's quite a very easy. Usually when you apply for visiting visa, once they've come once, the subsequent one, even though the maximum that the system will allow you to put there is 12 months, but for parents they usually give them like a 3 years multiple entry, which means that they can come in, so you won't have to keep applying for visa every now and then. But the trick with that is that once they spend the 12 months, they return back. They expect them to spend like at least minimum of 6 months in their home country before they come back again.
So they
So they
can
can,
spend 12 months at a stretch.
it's 12 months at a stretch. Yes.
And I think I saw a visa. I'm not sure whether it was New Zealand or Australia. There's a visa that you can actually apply for your aged parent to come and live
Yes.
with you permanently.
Yes, it's Australia. It's called a parent visa. So
Okay.
you can apply for them to come and live with you permanently, but the visa is very expensive, my dear. I
Have you
don't.
seen anyone that was granted at all?
Yeah. But then the process takes a long period. It could take like up to the process could take like up to 12 years. So even if you pay that money and God forbid before they approve it, if the parent don't go see Baba God, what are you gonna do? Wo-
Okay. Thank you,
Would
sir.
they?
Someone asked, how many months must someone have worked or stayed in Australia before they will be entitled to 12 months maternity leave?
At least you are entitled to leave after a year work.
Okay, after a year
Mm,
work.
mm.
Yeah, how long can they stay? You've answered that, sir. How about childcare under 5? Yeah, childcare, so childcare.
Childcare. Childcare, look, is a bit expensive, and I have to be very open about that. Is childcare is a bit expensive. So daycare generally, that's why you see some people they have to bring their aged parents to help them out. You see a lot of people that they like the payment through age care, through child care is very expensive. Some of them will even to get one to access one. Some people they will have enrolled the child even when they are still in pregnancy because it's just very hard to get one, and when you get it, the cost could be as much as a $350, $400 per week.
That's big. That's really,
Yeah, so
really big.
so
That's
that's
big.
why that's more reason why you see some people who will uh stay home for 1 year, because when you consider how much you'll be paying, when you consider how much you'll be paying for if you are putting your child in a child care center.
All right. Mm. Oh, can we have the requirement for migrating to Australia from Nigeria? Oh, I'm sure I've talked about all those things everywhere,
Yeah.
everywhere.
Well, yeah. Well, you can put the link on your YouTube channel as well. You maybe
All
just
right.
encourage them to visit your
Yes.
YouTube channel, and they can just click on check on the comment section. You can just put a link there for them.
All right, sir. Thank you very much, sir. I'm not sure. I believe I wanted to ask a question the other time. Which profession is, which group of people are well paid? Very well paid
Uh
in Australia.
well, like obviously people in a health field, and then you now consider like a IT and engineering as well. But
Okay.
saying that, if you have people that are doing tradies work, they are even well paid than any professional. And what I mean by trading work is that if you're a plumber, you are a builder, all those job that people don't really consider as a good job. But you are an electrician, you are like you get well, you are a
Baba
tiler.
hairdresser.
Yeah, you get paid really well, because easily you can have your own gig. Once you have your tool, you charge whatever you feel that you want.
So, but I don't want this to be a casting, but I know you were involved in some care workers or support workers getting job from Nigeria and they got visas and they are in Australia. How is
They,
that
they are
going?
they are in New Zealand.
Sir?
They are in New Zealand.
They are in New Zealand.
Yes.
Okay. So how is that working?
Look, it's working okay. I've got a particular healthcare service that I work with in New Zealand, and they provide the healthcare workers visa. But the thing is that each accredited facility in New Zealand, they have the maximum number of people that they can recruit in a year, and they just give you like maybe 2 or 3 slots to bring people in, and you can. And the good thing is that if they go through the interview process and they succeed, the employer will sponsor their visa in. Before, it used to be like a 3 years visa, but since this year November, they've increased it to 5 years,
Yeah.
and that particular visa also have a pathway to permanent
Panel
residency.
residency.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so even if you don't have other profession, if that is all what you're doing, you could apply for permanent residency. So that visa is called accredited employer work visa.
Yeah.
That's what it's called. So, and
Okay, sir.
it's got a pathway to permanent residency.
Residency.
Mm.
So do you feel happy for us to approach you to help
Yeah,
some
yeah,
people that might
absolutely.
want to come over?
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And look, I because it's a new territory that I've just branched into, and I always love to put my best foot ahead. So personally, if I'm getting a slot, I always make sure that I screen whoever is going to be, screen them thoroughly, and make sure that they will be a good ambassador for our company. And the good thing about that is that when you doing well, then you have a chance for them to consider your establishment. Oh, we've got somebody that is really good for from so person. When we need somebody else again, we go back at there, and that has been my experience. I can boldly say because of my adventure with Gobon Valley Health over the years, that has really helped many other people attract many other people into the service, because they always say, "Oh, look, I know a friend of mine, a close friend of mine, that was never interviewed when he got a job. The director said to him, if Charles is recommending you and he said you are trained in the same place, then you don't need any interview. Just tell me when you want to start."
That's the kind of life we should be living everywhere.
Yeah, and that really gave me a lot of hope that okay, well, it's always good to be good. Like if you doing a good thing, even when you don't know, other people they notice it. For the director to be saying that, say, look, you don't need any interview if so person is recommending you, and he claimed that you were trained in the same place. So, which means they value whatever I'm bringing to the table.
All right, sir. Ah, respect, sir.
Mm.
To the audience at home, thank you for coming around. Sir, do you have any words to wrap up this session? It's been a big time with you.
Mm.
I can't
And
thank you enough. But do you have
yeah.
words to tell our people at home?
So my words of advice will generally go to the people at home. I know, like the general slogan in the street now in Nigeria is that everybody wants to jackpot. But when you're doing that, it's always do good to do it with common sense. To look before you leap. Have a plan, and when you have that plan, it's always good to have a backup a plan as well. When someone is promising you a visa, that once you get there, they're organizing a visiting visa for you, or just oh, look, once you do this student visa, you get to wherever you're going. I know a lot of people that I keep telling them, say, look, it doesn't work. Oh, just invite me. When I get there, I will come and sort myself out. It doesn't work. When you are too desperate, you will get into trouble. So it's always good to plan and plan really well. And when you have your plan, it's always good to have a backup a plan as well. And if you find yourself anywhere, look, it's not there are some certain things. It's always good to choose our battle. It's not every time that you become so combative. You like always be very strategic, and be very intentional with everything that you're doing. Choose your battle. It's not everything that you have to fight for this and fight for that. There are some certain war that you don't need to fight, yeah, and you will start winning those war because you are very strategic. You are very strategic in what you are doing, and above all, be prayerful. It's always a good, and I used to joke, and it's not a joke. I said the only advantage that we have to people around us is because we know God,
Hmm.
and that is one big advantage. So we know, like we serve a God, we know a God that we have a faith that we run, we have somewhere that we run to when we're in trouble. We don't only rely on our own knowledge alone. Even yes, it's good for you to have an idea of what you needed to do, but it won't hurt. It won't hurt if you bring a God into the battle as well.
Thank you very much, sir. I
Yeah,
appreciate you.
you're
So that
welcome.
you can go and have a good rest overnight.
Yes.
Femi Alon said we should connect him to you, whereas we know that he owns part of Boda. And somebody said, how can we reach you, sir, for the work visa for carer jobs in Australia? It's got a Facebook page, and I'm sure I saw something like that, the carer flyer on his Facebook page, if I was correct.
Yes,
Uh,
I've got a Facebook page. You can go look for Loloway Consult on Facebook. You'll find me there. And I've got a Instagram page as well. You can look for Loloway Consult on Instagram. And yeah, if you go to Sade's channel on YouTube as well, I want everybody to go subscribe to that channel.
Thank you,
So
sir.
if you visited the channel, you'll probably find my details there as well. All right.
All right.
So go
Yes.
and subscribe to Sade's channel on YouTube.
Thank you, sir. And hopefully people that we mention Mentor Shade to you will get discounts for
Yes,
the carer
absolutely,
things.
absolutely. So if you are coming from my sister, you will get a discount.
All right. Thank you very much, sir.
You're
Thank you,
welcome.
family members. We are quite grateful for having you around. Thank you very, very much. Thank you
Thank you.
all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Merry
Have a
Christmas to everybody and Happy New
Merry
Year in
Christmas to
advance.
everybody. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very
Yeah.
much, sir. You are
All
already in
right.
20 on Christmas Eve.
Yes. Yes, we
Yeah.
are in Christmas. We are in Christmas Eve here in Australia.
Yeah.
It's almost one a.m. now.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, sir. We appreciate
All
your
right.
presence. Thank you very much for
You're
your
welcome.
humility. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bye, sir. Thank you,
Bye.
Sister
Yeah.
Nike. Thank
Bye
you,
everyone.
Mr. Femi, Chidima, Grace, Amazon, Vera, Sister Nike, Pathfinders, my boss of life, Sister Bolanle. Yes,
Uh,
and many, many more people. Sister Mujidat, I appreciate every one of you for being here. Ima Obong, yeah, I appreciate everyone. Ada Ipechuku, every time you are always with me. I pray the Lord prosper all your ways. Abiodun, thank you. That's my kid sister. And Daddy Simon, that's my father. Thank you so much. Thank you, brother. Have a very good night, sir.
and you too.
Thank
Bye.
you, sir. Bye.
Yeah, and Vera, have a very lovely day.
Your guy is blossoming.
Yes, so.
Thank you, sir.
uh,
Bye, everybody. Bye. I appreciate. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. I don't feel like leaving you people. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Thanks, guys. I appreciate your presence. I'm really, really grateful. I pray the Lord prosper all our efforts in the name of Jesus. Thank you. Bye.